In the Wii era, Wuhu Island was everywhere. You could jog across the island in Wii Fit, play table tennis at the hotel and frisbee on the beach in Wii Sports Resort, and jetpack by the volcano in Pilot Wings. For a time, Wuhu Island was Nintendo's go-to setting. And yet, almost 20 years later, the whole thing feels like a distant memory. Wuhu Island hasn't appeared in a game in 8 years, and even Wii Sports follow-up, Switch Sports, ditched Wuhu Island for a new setting called Spocko Square. So what happened? Well, in this video, I want to explore the rise and fall of this iconic island. We'll look at why Nintendo's game developers created Wuhu Island in the first place, how the location evolved from game to game, and why, ultimately, Nintendo stopped using Wuhu Island in their games. Part 1. The Island Concept. Wuhu Island first began as an idea in the head of Shigeru Miyamoto, the creator of Mario. For many years, he'd been dreaming of creating an island that could be used in not just a single game, but across many games of different genres. Miyamoto explained, "I had been thinking about the island concept in one form or another for more than 10 years. I've always thought, seeing as we're a games company, in addition to characters resembling people, why couldn't we also turn the actual stages of games into characters?" That thought was the seed that would eventually become Wuhu Island. But things started slowly. Miyamoto's first attempt at the island idea came during the development of Wii Sports. At E3 2006, Nintendo showed off a work-in-progress version of the game, with 4 sports available to play: tennis, baseball, golf, and one other, airplane. In this game mode, players used the Wii Remote to control a small aeroplane flying over an island with a real similarity to Wuhu Island. This was Nintendo's first attempt at Miyamoto's island concept, but when Airplane got cut from Wii Sports before launch, the island went with it. However, this wasn't the end of the island concept. In 2007's Wii Fit, there's a jogging game mode where players can jog their way across an island, and that island was an updated version of the cut location from Wii Sports. Jogging, in fact, was a last-minute addition to Wii Fit, with the game's director Hiroshi Matsunaga explaining, "We were just putting the finishing touches on Wii Fit at the time, and to make matters worse, jogging was still in its experimental stages." The Wii Fit team polished up the island, giving it the name Wii Fit Island. Rather than the volcano, there's a mountain at the center of this island called Rocky Peak. This was the first time the world was introduced to Nintendo's iconic island, but it still had a ways to go. It wasn't until Wii Sports Resort from 2009 that Wii Fit Island would become Wuhu Island in its finished form. When Miyamoto told the developers of Wii Sports that their next project would take place entirely on the island from Wii Fit, they were surprised. The game's director, Takayuki Shimomura, recalled, "I was really taken aback. In fact, I was at a loss for words. It was their job to take Wii Fit Island and turn it into a full setting. No, not just a setting, but a character in itself. That was Miyamoto's ambition." He said, "We really polished up the island, turned it into a resort, and actually made the location into a kind of character." And this ambition explained a lot of Wuhu Island's design. The island was filled with all kinds of landmarks: the Candle Lighthouse, the volcano Makawuhu, the ancient ruins, and of course, Wuhu Town. The idea was that even if you were dropped somewhere at random, you could use these landmarks to work out where you were. not just for the sake of Wii Sports Resort, but for future games set on Wuhu Island. Miyamoto explained, "We thought it would be a fun idea to have a location that everyone knows and then have all sorts of stuff going on there. It would mean that players would already know the town like the back of their hands by the time they came to buy the next adventure game." Miyamoto even told the team to leave certain areas of the island empty so that future games could use that empty space if needed. The result was 2009's Wii Sports Resort and the iconic setting of Wuhu Island. This was the final form of Miyamoto's island concept, and it worked really well. Having all 12 sports take place at various points in and around Wuhu Island gave the game a real sense of place, which was something the original Wii Sports lacked a little. And this setting had a bright future ahead of it. Shigeru Miyamoto's ambitions for Wuhu Island were grand, to say the least. "This will lead to a series of island games," he said. "You could have adventure games, role-playing games, city-building simulation games." Miyamoto even seriously considered licensing out Wuhu Island to other game studios, so it wouldn't just be Nintendo games taking place on this one single setting. So what went wrong? Why didn't Wuhu Island catch on like Nintendo hoped? Part 2. The Decline of Wuhu Island. In the first few years after Wii Sports Resort, it seemed like Shigeru Miyamoto's plan was working perfectly. Wuhu Island kept popping up in all kinds of Nintendo games, from Pilot Wings Resort to Mario Kart 7 to Wii Fit U. Unfortunately, each of these games encountered problems caused by Wuhu Island itself. Let me explain. First, there's Pilot Wings. As one of the 3DS's launch titles, Pilot Wings Resort was intended to show off this new console and get people to upgrade. You could fly over and around Wuhu Island in full 3D using jetpacks, gliders, and aeroplanes. Unfortunately, this wasn't the first game you could do that in. Back in Wii Sports Resort, Island Flyover let you do the exact same thing. One reviewer wrote, "Wuhu Island is a lovely, picturesque place, but we've seen it more than once before. By reusing the same setting, Pilot Wings Resort felt in many ways like a do-over." And by the time Nintendo reached the Wii U era, that problem became even more obvious. Many of the console's major titles were built on existing Wii ideas, like Wii Fit U and Wii Sports Club, with a similar look and feel. When Wii Fit U launched to extremely poor sales, less than 20,000 in the weeks after its US launch, company president Satoru Iwata put out a statement. "We released Wii Sports Club and Wii Fit U for the Wii U system, but they did not have the same strong impact that the original Wii versions had. At a glance, they look just similar to their predecessors. Wii Fit U's reuse of Wuhu Island definitely didn't help with this problem." And besides, while Miyamoto designed Wuhu Island to be used across all kinds of different games, it didn't necessarily fit every genre or series. Mario Kart 7, for instance, features 2 racetracks set on Wuhu Island, along with a battle track in Wuhu Town. But adapting the expansive island into Mario Kart courses caused a lot of headaches for the game's developers. Yusuke Shiraiwa, the lead programmer of Mario Kart 7, recalled, "The original island that served as the basis was large, so there were a lot of adjustments. It's a busy course graphically, so processing was getting heavy." You see, a large island resort just isn't suited to all games across all genres. In the end, Miyamoto's wish for a Wuhu Island RPG or city builder never ended up happening. And would those games have been any good? Would reusing Wuhu Island have helped make them better? I'm somewhat dubious. By the time Nintendo moved to the Switch, Wuhu Island was already a thing of the past. When developing Nintendo Switch Sports, the team was eager to differentiate the game from previous entries in the series. They never even considered reusing Wuhu Island. Instead, they tried coming up with all kinds of different new settings, like an ancient Olympic stadium, or a college sports pitch with hundreds of people watching in the audience. What they landed on in the end, though, was a state-of-the-art sports complex called Spocko Square. Art director Junji Mori said in an interview, "We designed it to create a sports complex that doesn't exist in real life, but would be nice if it did." In other words, the Switch Sports team didn't want a familiar island resort. They wanted something new, something different. And that really gets to the heart of the problem with Wuhu Island. Miyamoto's idea of reusing the same setting across all different games and genres, well, it's interesting in theory, but in practice, I'm not sure it really works. Yes, players can become familiar with Wuhu Island, become attached to it even. But after a while, games just start feeling samey. If you already own 3 or 4 games set in Wuhu Island, are you going to go out and buy a 5th or 6th? Sales data for Pilot Wings and Wii Fit U indicates probably not. But was this the end for Wuhu Island? Well, not quite. Yes, for us players, Wuhu Island has never reappeared. But it turns out, inside the company, Nintendo's game designers began using Wuhu Island as a guide to help design the next generation of games. Let me explain. Part 3. Wuhu's Legacy. When Eiji Aonuma, producer of the Zelda series, decided in 2013 that the next Zelda game would take place in a large open world, the game's developers spent a lot of time thinking about how to create a good open world. A world that's fun to explore and where you're led to the next destination by your own curiosity, not by a marker on your map. And this is where a lot of the lessons from Wuhu Island came in handy. Just as Miyamoto had suggested a focus on using key landmarks to help players orient themselves on the island, Breath of the Wild uses landmarks like the Sheikah Towers to draw players along through Hyrule. Seeing a town on the distant horizon not only draws you in, but it gives you an idea of where you are in the game's huge world. It's like a scaled-up version of Wuhu Island, where landmarks like the candle or the ancient ruins can help players locate themselves on the island. One key staff member who worked on both Breath of the Wild and Wii Sports Resort was Takahiro Dota, Zelda's programming lead. And Dota took the knowledge gained from designing Wuhu Island right on through to Zelda. In an interview about Tears of the Kingdom, he said, "When I was working on the programming for Wuhu Island during Wii Sports Resort's development, I remembered Miyamoto-san saying that he wanted to turn the actual stages of games into characters. And so, with Tears of the Kingdom specifically, a key idea from Miyamoto's island concept came back around, reusing one location in multiple games. Dota explained, "What Miyamoto wanted was to create one island and use that as a base to add various kinds of gameplay in different games. The idea of having new discoveries in the same setting was striking to me. I'd been wanting to try this idea with other titles, and I supposed this game would leverage that kind of approach." And so the Zelda team took the version of Hyrule from Breath of the Wild and reused it in Tears of the Kingdom. By adding sky islands, caves, and the underground depths to an otherwise familiar world, Tears of the Kingdom feels both familiar and full of unexpected surprises. It was directly inspired by Miyamoto's island concept from 15 years earlier, but again, on a much bigger scale. And with the game getting glowing reviews and sales of over 20 million, it seems that this idea of revisiting a familiar location wasn't such a dud after all. So, it's now been close to 10 years since Wuhu Island last showed up in Nintendo's games, and to be honest, I don't think it's very likely we'll see another big Wuhu game coming anytime soon. Of course, I'd love if we did, but I think Nintendo wants to move away from the Wii and Wii U era, at least on a surface level. Mii's, for example, have been downgraded from company mascot to more of a curio. And Wuhu Island is in that same category. It evokes a different era, where Nintendo tried to appeal to absolutely everyone, from kids to pensioners. That's not a bad idea per se, but come the Wii U, this gold rush dried up, and I think Wuhu Island may have gone with it. But it's also clear that Nintendo learnt a lot from making Wuhu Island, from the importance of landmarks in open-world design to the idea of bringing back old places and giving them new life. Wuhu Island may not be the star of Nintendo's new big titles, but it's certainly not been completely forgotten. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Videos like this are made possible thanks to my kind patrons, including Arthur Nicole, Brett Profit, Daryl Gero, Doran, Esther Lopez, Fresh Poetic, Jim Gilsonen, Kieran Chan, Kinugu, Lucas Little, May I, Michael Gunter, Rabinstick, Skater Pie, and Thomas Söderlund.